Have you ever looked up at the night sky and felt a deep, eerie feeling? Like something old and unseen is watching, waiting to awaken? This week, the sky itself will bleed. A total lunar eclipse will darken the heavens over the United States, transforming the moon into a deep, unholy red, the infamous blood moon. People will gather, staring up in awe, but few will wonder what it truly means. Fewer still will understand the ancient warnings whispered through time. For centuries, the night sky has been a harbinger of change, an unspoken language written in shadow and light. Eclipses, comets, and falling stars. Each event has stirred fear and wonder in those who dared to look up. But the blood moon is different. It does not simply pass. It lingers, staining the sky like an open wound. Some will call it a coincidence, a mere alignment of celestial bodies. Science will explain it in cold, measured terms. Yet deep down, a primal part of us will shudder. We will feel it in our bones, in the way the air stills, in the way the wind whispers secrets that no one dares to hear. The ancient civilizations knew. The Mayans, the Babylonians, the prophets of old, they saw the moon turn to blood and heard the echoes of something vast and unrelenting. A warning, a reckoning. And each time, the world trembled in its wake. On that night, as the blood moon rises, you will have a choice. You can dismiss it as another astronomical event, another fleeting spectacle in the endless void. Or you can listen to the silence, to the weight pressing down on the earth, to the unseen forces that have stirred since the dawn of time. Because, whether we choose to believe it or not, the sky remembers. And the blood moon does not rise without reason. Does the Bible say anything about the blood moon? Yes. And what it says should terrify you. Scripture speaks of a time when the moon will turn to blood, heralding the day of judgment. The prophet Joel warned, "The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of the Lord." Joel 2:31. The book of Revelation echoes this ominous sign. "And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth, and the moon became as blood." Revelation 6:12. For centuries, mankind has gazed at the sky, seeking omens and answers. Some dismiss these celestial warnings, calling them coincidences, mere science. But what if science is simply explaining the method behind the madness? What if these events are not random, but calculated, orchestrated by hands unseen? The ancients did not have telescopes or satellites, yet they watched the heavens with an intensity we have long abandoned. They built temples aligned with celestial movements, recorded strange occurrences in the sky, and carved their warnings into stone. To them, the shifting of the heavens was not just a spectacle, but a message, a harbinger of fate itself. And when the moon turned red, fear gripped their hearts, for they knew what often followed. Empires have risen and crumbled beneath these blood-stained skies. Wars ignited, kings dethroned, and civilizations fell, all under the shadow of an eclipsed moon. Are these mere coincidences? Or are they part of a pattern too vast for us to comprehend? Some call it prophecy, others call it fate. But what if the truth is something far older, something lurking in the spaces between time, waiting? We comfort ourselves with logic, with equations and predictions that strip the cosmos of its mystery. But deep down, we understand that there are forces beyond our grasp. We see them in the sudden, inexplicable unease when we stare into the darkness too long. We feel them in the weight of the unknown pressing against the edges of our fragile reality. And on nights when the moon is swallowed in crimson, those forces feel closer than ever. Perhaps the blood moon is nothing more than light bending through the atmosphere. Or perhaps it is a whisper, a final warning from the void before the clock runs out. Because if this is a sign, then the question is no longer why it happens. The question is, what comes next? This coming blood moon is not the first. It has come before, marking moments of upheaval and change. A series of blood moons accompanied Israel's rebirth in 1948. Another shadowed the Six-Day War in 1967. Coincidence, or a cosmic clock ticking down to something inevitable? In recent years, many claimed that the blood moons of 2014 and 2015 signaled the end. But time continued, unchanged, or so it seemed. Does that mean the warnings were false? Or do they simply remind us that the inevitable is still on its way? Ancient civilizations looked to the sky not just for guidance, but for warnings. The Mayans, the Babylonians, and the Egyptians all believed the heavens revealed the fate of nations. Eclipses were seen as omens of doom, a rupture in the balance of the world. The gods, they believed, were watching, and when the moon bled, it meant judgment was at hand. Were they simply primitive, or did they understand something we have long since forgotten? Even modern history is littered with eerie coincidences surrounding lunar eclipses. Blood moons have aligned with war, with chaos, with the rise and fall of rulers. The Tetrad of 1493 occurred as Spain expelled the Jews, forever altering the course of history. The eclipses of 1949 and 1967 shadowed pivotal moments in the formation and survival of Israel. And now, another approaches. What will follow this one? Science tells us why the moon turns red, but science does not tell us what it means. There is a difference between knowing how something happens and understanding why it happens. The sky has been a silent witness to the ages, but what if it is not silent at all? What if it is screaming, warning us that the pattern is repeating once more? If the heavens are speaking, then we have a choice, to listen or to turn away. But ignoring a warning does not stop what is coming. And when the moon is swallowed in crimson, when the air itself feels heavy with something unseen, one question will linger in the minds of those who dare to look up. Is this just another eclipse, or is it a sign? Perhaps this eclipse is merely another night under the stars. Perhaps it is nothing. But what if it isn't? What if the sky is screaming and we refuse to listen? What if, in the stillness of the night, something stirs? An unseen force waiting just beyond the veil of human understanding, whispering through the shifting shadows of the cosmos. We have grown arrogant, believing that we have mapped the heavens, that we understand the dance of celestial bodies. But there are mysteries older than time itself, secrets woven into the very fabric of existence, secrets that do not care whether we believe in them. The ancient ones feared the blood moon for a reason. To them, it was not just an eclipse, but an opening. A rift in the order of the universe where the boundaries between worlds thinned. They spoke of spirits that stirred, of unseen watchers moving in the dark, of omens that came not to warn, but to mark the beginning of something inevitable. Perhaps they were wrong, or perhaps we have simply forgotten the truth. And what of the silence? The eerie, heavy silence that falls before the darkness overtakes the moon? Even the animals sense it. Birds grow restless, dogs whimper, an unnatural stillness hangs in the air, as if the world itself is holding its breath. Some say it is nothing more than instinct, a primal fear buried deep in the bones of living creatures. But what if it is something else? What if they hear what we refuse to acknowledge? As the shadow deepens and the moon is swallowed in crimson, one question will remain. Is this a mere celestial event, a trick of light and shadow? Or is it a harbinger of something we were never meant to understand? A warning lost on those too blind to see? And if it is a warning, then the real question is, what comes next? Will you ignore the warning, or will you look up and wonder what comes next? The science behind the omen. A total lunar eclipse occurs when the Earth stands between the sun and the moon, casting its shadow across the lunar surface. But why does the moon turn red? Because the light passing through Earth's atmosphere scatters, filtering out blue wavelengths and allowing only deep reds and oranges to reach the moon. A simple, natural explanation. But even natural forces can be part of something far greater. On the night of March 13th into the early hours of March 14th, 2025, the transformation will begin. The penumbral phase at 11:57 p.m. Eastern Time. The partial eclipse at 10:09 a.m. Totality, when the moon is swallowed in crimson, from 2:26 a.m. to 3:31 a.m. The event concludes around 6 a.m. If you dare to watch, remember, what you see may be more than just a celestial event. It may be a warning, a sign in the heavens. Skeptics dismiss the idea that the heavens could hold divine messages, fearing superstition. But throughout history, the sky has spoken. The star of Bethlehem led the wise men to Christ. A great darkness fell at the crucifixion. And now the moon runs red, just as foretold.